Chaps, I've got Tim. Tim, you're a seasoned mental health advocate, worker. Tell us
Yeah,
about.
facilitator. Yeah, but so like I said, I've been involved with helping people since I first got involved in 1996, working at a youth project centre, and then I went on to work in a private mental health company. So yeah, it's providing mental health support for people.
So you've nearly seen it all.
Yeah, because I came through the youth justice system myself at a very young age. I'm 23 years clean myself. And I went through the youth justice system, and then I was given the opportunity to give something back, and that's how I got involved with mental health to really start with back in '96, working in a youth project centre, and I seen
Yeah.
the benefit.
So are you from the care system yourself then, are you?
Okay, no, I left home at 15, and I went down a very dark, long road of criminality and drug addiction, and I ended up in a very bad place. But I was given an opportunity to get my life back on, and that was providing help in a youth project centre.
Yeah.
So, um, in a sense, yeah, I went through the youth justice system of the getting in trouble with the police and that. And yeah, so yeah, I got the opportunity to work in the youth project centre, which, that's really where it kicked off, really, for myself.
Yeah. Wow. It's really good because I'm from the care system, bit of a rocky road and all this kind of stuff. I don't know why I'm being secretive. It's all on the bloody internet. So but I'd say people like me and you are like quite few and far between.
Yeah, and also it's having that understanding, having that empathy of wow, how tough it is. When an individual's 15, 16 years old and they have no one and nothing, and
Yeah.
they've gone down a certain road in life, it's having a little bit of understanding, and people can have an understanding that without sounding wrong, being in that situation, you really understand what what you have to battle against, what you're up against, um, people's views of you because of your past. It's having that understanding, and really able to giving people the opportunity to go, yeah, I completely understand what life is like. I understand what you've gone through, but this is what I did. This is what you can do. And giving them the self belief as well. Some of the kids I work with at the moment that are disengaged from education, they've been parents. Some parents are like, don't know what to do with them. I can't handle them. Schools don't know what to do with. Giving them confidence, giving them the self belief, you
Yeah.
know, that there are options out there. The world doesn't see them as a write off. That's the word I'm looking for, as a write off. A lot of people see them as write offs.
Yeah.
And it's
I have to agree with that. I'd say, I think I said this in a video a couple of years ago. I never told anybody that I was raised here. Well, actually, I wasn't raised in care. I was passed around in care and raised myself.
yeah.
I didn't tell anybody that until only probably 4 or 5 years ago. It was around the Man Up era.
If we can get people that have been in care and been in addiction, or and make them understand that they have so much strength, because you're self-determined to a lot of degree.
Yeah,
You really are sort of, well, I'm in a care, I've got no family around me, I'm with people I don't want to live with, I'm being told what to get up in the morning, what to do, I'm going here, I'm going there. You're a child and an adult, an adult and a young child. You've got so much going for you. It's drawing that out of the individual that are in care and making them, helping them realize that you are strong, you can do these things, you know, and helping them just to break down some barriers of unfortunately in the care system it's stigmatized
yeah,
very much. Is that you're in care, you're in care for a reason. There's lots of reasons why people are in care and go to support people or that are in care and that need support, but they're not write-offs. You know, we've got some fantastic, amazing people that have really come far just because they've been in care or under the youth justice system doesn't mean that they can't do anything. You know,
exactly. It's just that shame, isn't it, throughout life? No,
it is.
and for me, sorry to interrupt you, but for me, I don't know whether that was shame I put on myself or shame from society. Because I did my GCSEs when I was 30.
Yeah, I left school with no education, no
Yeah.
GCSEs. I literally got in a fight at school at 15 and never went back. You
Right.
know, and never completed my GCSE and then got into the wrong crowd. It wasn't until I was well in my 30s, like yourself, that I started getting qualifications,
Yeah.
and and that was through the job.
So how do just trying to pin it back to mental health as well. But how did you get through? I don't want to diagnose. How did you get through your shame of being the wrong one? So because it sounds like you're doing all right. You're helping loads of people.
Yeah, but no, I struggle. I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. I had a
I've got
breakdown.
that as well. Yeah, high functioning me. Yeah.
I still struggle with my identity. I still struggle with that shame. It
Yeah.
was 30 years ago, but I still have that feeling of I feel ashamed. Did I take, what ifs? I try not to do the what ifs, but what if I'd have turned right instead of turning left? I still
Yeah.
have that shame of I'm clean 23 years, but it's not a day goes by that I don't think, I struggled and got off it and stayed off drugs, but there's always that shame, and there is a society side of it. Jobs that I've gone through, I said, yes, I've had to explain my past and my DBS, my criminal activity when I was
Yeah.
younger. I still have to explain that. I still have to justify that, even though it was 30 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. Yeah, and it's what I was saying earlier this morning. It's sometimes it's easier to help others than it is to self help. You know,
That's a very, very valid point. Absolutely. Yeah.
I can give people advice and support. Say I did this, this worked, this is how I did it, and this is what will work because I've got the results to prove that. But to do it on myself, it's just, I'd be amazing if I did everything I said to help people on myself. I'd be further along the line. Mentally, I struggle emotionally, on anxiety, um, depression. I have waves. My self identity is out the window. I have no self identity, you know, and yeah, it's society. It's easy to get diagnosed, but and it helped me to get diagnosed because I could not justify, I could understand why I behaved the way I did in
Yeah.
certain times of my life. It gave me that, but there's nothing else after. You still have to struggle on a daily basis, which I do. But
Do you know what? I don't mean this how it sounds, but from BPT to BPD, in our little club
yeah,
there, it's really not. I don't mean it's nice to hear this from somebody else
yeah,
because from what you said, like I run a charity and I run a business and all this kind of stuff as well. So, and sometimes, yeah, you just sit down and think. I don't know. With me, with probably going on a tangent. I get so many people, like schools, NHS, sometimes the police, they're a bit more arsy about it, but I'll get people saying, do you know, do you realise like the impact that you've helped because of Man Up? Not me as personally, because of the Man Up. I started it. No, I can never quite accept it.
yeah, because you constantly striving in the internal side of you is just like shame. It's overwhelming emotions. I can go from 1 minute. I can wake up in the morning, most mornings, and feel like I owe a drug dealer £3 million. It's
Yeah,
a, ugh. And then I get myself out of it, and then 30 seconds later, I'm down again. Like yourself, it's trying to. I wish I could help myself more than I do.
yeah.
And also it's giving yourself a break as well. It's I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I'm not on drugs anymore. I've got home. I've got a job. I'm doing what I want to do. I do what I love. But people that we don't have struggle. You know.
No,
Um,
no, we do it, and it just feels weird to hear it. It feels weird to say I'm kind of glad you're saying it because there's a few things I know I'm processing, thinking I'm not the only one.
but that's the other side of mental health and other things we think. I think I'm the only one that's feeling and thinking this. Why am I going so wrong? Why am I feeling like this? Why are my thought loops going over and over and over again?
Yeah,
Why drag myself? And I have to do certain things to bring myself out of it to then go, actually, I'm all right. I'm doing all right. I've got my being grateful for what I've got.
yeah,
But uh, we struggle, and it's having these opportunities to speak to yourself and to say, look, we all struggle, and my frustration is that there's lots out there that we can provide. Unfortunately, there's just not enough government funding. There's not enough support, the stigma of mental health. We're only doing it for 1 week. What annoys me at the moment is a lot of companies are going, mental health week, let's do this. It's 51 weeks of the year.
Yeah, yeah.
What are we doing? Why are we not doing this more? But you know, there's a lot of people that help there and do a lot of help for free and do some fantastic work. But we really need to push it because of people are committing suicide on a daily basis.
Well,
You know,
the stats are showing already that they're going up.
you know,
And all sorts. It's actually terrifying. It really is terrifying. I think that this is the thing, especially I'm quite anti the mental health. I support anything which is genuine awareness.
yeah,
The guts of it is there.
yeah.
But I think now it's just like a trend and the fad. It's just
But
like
the thing, and this is what a lot of people are out there helping people, giving advice. We want results based. Say this is the problem, and this is the action, and this is the result. I can talk all day long about how to help somebody support. I need to show people that these are the results. We need more results based activities, not activities like going like climbing and stuff, even though that does help. But we need more results. As I'm especially after lockdown, people have had a job for the last 10 years and they've gone to the doctor, struggled with antidepressants, and now we're stuck in a position where I'm stuck on antidepressants. I'm stuck on diazepam. You need to show and help support people that this is what you do and this is the result of that. Action. We need more action-based problems, goal setting.
we do from businesses, charities, and all sorts. But I think more importantly from individuals themselves.
Yeah.
And one of the things I've started noticing the trend actually more so in video. I speak to a lot of blokes. It's part and parcel. One of the things I notice is when I ask somebody like, what do you do to reach out to a mate or something along those lines? Like your mate's acting a bit weird. How do you reach out? I was like, well, this is how I do it, but I'm not qualified. And I
Yeah,
think we're moving into that world where everyone thinks they need to be qualified to help out another human being.
exactly. We've society's created that.
Yeah,
Society created that you have to be a certain level. No, like I was saying, going back to the point I made earlier, people that are in care or been through the care system are very strong, very determined, and it's drawing that out and helping them to realize it's like, actually, I'm a human being. I
yeah.
can do this. I've got these skills. That's the skill set. We've all got very good skills. We don't. I know people that are super qualified but struggle on a day-to-day basis with individuals. But I know somebody that's come up through the system that offers so much more. And I'm not trying to be sort of generalized and put people in boxes, but that's reality is that my experience is that people that live life, gone through the hard times, have a lot to offer. And I'm not to say that people that don't go through hard times don't have a lot to offer, because they do, but it's the raw experiences of life that count and that we can
Well, it
provide.
is. Yeah, I'd agree with you. Everyone I know who's survived the care system, I know that sounds dramatic, but I've known loads who are no longer with us. Um, they're the most resilient people going. But on the other hand, like you, I don't want to turn it into an us versus them because we all share the same air. But I think I had certain people who probably five people in my life who gave me that first step.
Yeah, that's the thing. I can think of a couple of people gone, Tim, here's a set of keys. And having those set of keys gave me the confidence. And I'll never forget those people. But yeah, it's people like ourselves and other people that it's drawing that out of the individual and saying, look, this is what you can do. This is how we did it, or I did it, and here's the results of what I've done now. And it's sharing that as well. But yeah, there's so much. We're on a daily basis battle, not just with our own mental health or issues, but a wider society. And I struggle to think one side of me says we're never going to combat it. We're never. So the next best thing for me is to provide verbal support, results based support, and say, look, we're never going to combat it completely. We're up against can't fight City Hall, so to
Yeah.
speak. It's very hard. So it's we just got to keep going. Keep providing that support, keep providing the options, and giving them the opportunity. If someone doesn't, that's the other side of it. Some people need to have that. Like when I gave up drugs, I wanted to.
Yeah.
It's helping them to decide. Yeah, you can do this, but you've got to also participate in this as well.
No, it's a valid point. That is a valid point. I used to run soup kitchens and all sorts. And there was one guy, I nearly said his name there. remember a few years ago, he was on everything. Every time I'd meet with him, every single week, I was just doing some outreach with him and doing the probation service. And they're like, right, okay, go and pee in the bottle. And every time I was like, oh, I've not really done anything. I've done a bit of weed. I've done a bit of white. It's like, well, you have.
Yeah, yeah,
I took the decision after I started to get burnt out by him
yeah, yeah.
because he
You
just
do.
really wanted to think. But then I realised he wasn't ready.
Yeah,
So I
exactly.
went to him. I went, mate. I can't. I went, come back when you're clean.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was such a hard thing. But you know what? Actually, he messaged me 6 months ago to say, Dan, I'm clean now. That offers for a lift to, I won't say where it is because obviously in case he watches, that offer to a lift to go and meet his son for the first time, is that still going?
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
was like, yeah, and I was so over the moon that he remembered that. Do you know what I mean? He didn't remember that. I was like, right, you're doing me heading now. Like I've tried for a year, that's it. But that was, I don't know, I was going with that one, but that
Yeah,
was nice. But
it's a valid. So,
that was on his terms.
yeah, exactly. And it's helping to say, here's the support, here's how I can help you. But really, after you're going to have to help yourself. But here's what we can do. It's not taking it away from them. It's saying, look, this can be possible, but I do need a percentage of your effort. You know, I got loads of people saying, go to rehab, do this, do that. Say, you know, and I was like, no, I don't want to do it. I'm happy as I am. But I
Yeah,
got to the point where I wasn't happy anymore. It wasn't productive. It wasn't helping me. I had to do something. So I came off and
yeah,
I got off drugs. But I had to do it. And I always try to remember that it was my self-determination. It was me. And yes, I had a lot of support around me to help me, but we've still got to offer these things that we do. But it is a lot of is helping them as well, getting them to help go, yeah, I can do this,
yeah.
like you said.
And sometimes, I feel like I'm preaching. But sometimes you don't need to be qualified to do all that. It's just like,
You're just offering that active listening. You're listening to the individual. You're not telling them what to do. You're offering them, but again, back to results. It's saying, you know, this can be done, and this is how to do it in the small steps, the big steps, and hopefully they will go away and think of that, and that will go back into their unconscious and go, well, actually, yeah, you
exactly.
me that he gave me 1 minute of his time, and that hopefully, and like the guy that came back to you, that must have stuck to him in his head, and he's come back to say thank you, you know, and is that opportunity still there,
No,
you know?
exactly that. Actually, I still owe him that lift. Actually,
Yeah,
it's just a real dumpy part of Essex. I really don't want to go. It's one of those things like years ago. I was like, yeah, I'll do that, and then I've been there before, so dump. But anyway, so just before we're flying through that, man. I'm definitely going to have to be back on a different bit, like one of our group videos. But so if someone's watching this and they're triggering dramatic word, but I've said it now. They can relate to something. What would you say them to do? And I will say, first of all, this has been an awesome therapy session for me. So cheers, mate.
yeah. It's to breathe. It's to stop, to breathe. Look at what we've got around you. It might not be everything that you want, but in reality, we're breathing.
Yeah.
It sounds cliche and but for me, when I wake up and I struggle in the morning, I just look around me. I can see, I can breathe. And I know people, but that's what helps me. When I get triggered, I'm able to have the opportunity to go for a walk. I have the opportunity. And this too shall pass. That's the most important thing. This too, whether I'm feeling good or feeling bad, this moment will pass. These thoughts, I have these thoughts and I have these very dark thoughts. But the analogy I use is like I accept them and let them go. It's like a baseball game. I hit them out the park. I accept that I have them now. I
Yeah.
understand them and I listen to them, but I don't take action on them. I let them just go. And it is just to keep going. Don't give up. You know, trying to offer some great advice, but I just sound cliche and I sound, just
No, but
saying,
it's the right advice, isn't it? But the one thing I do want to say, just before I draw a close, so you've been in the mental health game for a long time. I run a charity. We've both had a full blown discussion that we're basically both just as mental as each other.
yeah, I love it.
So do you get what I mean? But we don't focus on being batshit crazy and what all this. We focus on what we can do.
Exactly. That's what society does, unfortunately. It says, you're mental, you got borderline, I'm going to box you.
Yeah,
I'm going to put you in this box under this umbrella. No, actually, I've got borderline, but I've got some great skills with the borderline. You know, I've got a shed load of energy.
Yeah,
You know, my thoughts rate at 10 to the dozen. I never finish one project. I've got 20 million projects going on one thing. You know, that's either a good thing or a bad thing, but I take it as a good thing.
yeah,
I can multitask. I can use my energy to keep going all day and get my jobs done. And I have my dark moments as well. Yeah, I have my moments of despair. I have my moments of, but you know, keep talking, and that's what helps me, you know, and taking a breath every now and again. So,
and that's it, isn't it? And I do have those odd conversations with people. It's like, oh, I should know better, and all this kind of stuff. It's just like the amount of mental health workers, even doctors, teachers, whatever else, who are highly trained in pretty much everything, probably too trained sometimes. They're all messed up.
yeah, yeah. You look at most psychiatrists, it will take their work home, and you know, it would be a more crazy than we are, you know. But it's again, it's just perception for me. It's the perception of how we look at this and how we determine mental health. You know, yes, we struggle. It's not a bad thing, you know,
Exactly that.
and people struggle, and we just need to keep providing that help and support, I suppose.
Exactly that, mate. But let me hit that record button. That was a good video. There we go.